Okay, well, welcome everybody. My name is Carleen Huxley, and this is Bridget W, and we're from the library. I'm the coordinator for the information literacy program here. And Bridget, you are?
I am the first year experience librarian. I typically work with freshmen or like yourself, new individuals on campus.
So the purpose for this session, for academic learning and success goals, the idea is to kind of help you guys understand how the library can be central to those goals, okay? So we're gonna be going over some basic information about the library, about where we are and the services that we provide, and then I will also go over a few things at the end, specifically about our website and how to access a lot of our resources from our website, so you guys know how to do that as well, okay?
Okay, well, the library is actually on the 4th and 5th floor. And this is, when you go into the computer lab on the 4th floor, this is what you will see. You'll be introduced to W.I. Dykes Library, and then you can get to the 5th floor through these stairs here on the 4th floor. Accessing the library is on the 4th and 5th floor, the main north building. Our hours, the best place to check our hours right now is going to be the website. With the Delta variant and all of those things, sometimes the library hours change. Typically they don't really, but the best place to get the hours is going to be on our website. I did give you a bookmark with the hours, so if you want to keep that in your backpack. It also has our phone number on here. And it also has the address, okay? And on the back, it also has the different ways of getting in contact with us. By email, there's 24/7 chat. You can call us, you can text us, and we also have social media. So you can follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram is really, really good. We just got a, what is that called? A TikTok. And so if you want to meet the librarians and kind of see what's going on, you can always follow us on social media. And we do answer on social media as well. This is the information desk. When you go into the library on the 4th floor, this is where all of the computers are housed. So if you need to print, if you need to use a computer, you can come on this floor. What's also here is the reference desk. So if you have a project that you need help with, research project, the reference librarian will be sitting there. Now there's the reference librarian, and then there's also the, what's David's position?
He's the computer lab supervisor.
Yeah, so David will be sitting there. He can take your ID, help you get set up on the computers. But if you need actual research help, there is a librarian there to help you. If we're not sitting out there, they'll call someone up from the back and we'll come out and help you. So you are not alone. So if you're sitting in class and you do not understand what your professor is talking about, you know, just take notes and come down and we'll break it down for you. We do have study and presentation rooms. This is the one-click library. What's really, really nice about one-click library, the one-click studio, one-button studio. So essentially it's a green screen and you can do your class presentations in there. There's a QR code on the outside of the study rooms and presentation rooms so that you can scan it and reserve it. So you can either go online on the website and you can reserve a room, or you can go to the room itself and scan it. The reason why you might want to check online first, because if it's already reserved, you kind of want to be able to reserve it before you make it there. But if you're already in school, you can go in and scan it. We do have study rooms. You do not have to reserve the study rooms, and the doors remain open. So you can open up the study room and go in there. The one-button studio is so cool because you can actually, like I said, you can change your backgrounds, and if you have to submit a presentation to your professor, you can do everything in there and submit from there. And the computers are actually Macs that they have set up there. So, you know, I'm a Mac lover. This is the circulation desk. The circulation desk is on the 5th floor. This is where you would go to actually check out your books. You could check out your books, see when your books are due, see if you have any fines. There are scanners on the 5th floor. There are copy machines on the 5th floor as well. One thing that I did forget to tell you is that you have a $25 credit to make copies every semester. If you don't use it, you lose it. So you don't have to be at home paying all of those high ink charges because you've already paid $25 to the university in order to print while you're here. So keep that in mind. Something else that I want to show you, everyone received this bookmark. These are the top 10 things that you can actually get from the circulation desk. You can actually check out calculators, whiteboards, and markers, because if you're in one of the study rooms, you might be in there with a group, and you might need markers to, write on the whiteboard. Video cameras, so sometimes you might be up here and you might have an online class next, but you don't have a webcam. You can actually check that out. HDMI and VGA cables, digital cameras, webcams, USB microphones, clickers, and then we have the study rooms, and yes, we also have graphic novels. We have a really good leisure reading section, so if you're someone who likes to read for fun, feel free to come in the library. We don't only have academic readings, but we also have leisure reading as well. And then we have interlibrary loan. If we don't have the book that you want, we can typically get it from another university. So if you're here and it's raining and you're stuck, you can check out an umbrella as well. Again, a camera, calculator, and course material textbooks on reserve. Your professor will typically tell you if he has a textbook on reserve. Does everybody know what that means, textbook on reserve? Would you like me to explain it? If you don't? Textbook on reserve means some professors, rather than they know that everyone can't buy the textbook, they'll bring the textbook that they use in their classroom to the library. You can't check it out and take it home, but you could actually use it there in the library. Your student ID card is your library card. So if you do not have your ID card, I believe that you can get that ID card at the sports center.
Right, fitness.
Sports and fitness. And you can go in there and get your library card. It's really integral now that y'all are in school here, because you can get a lot of great discounts with it too. So if you don't have it, meaning at certain restaurants and stuff, because you're a student, they'll give you a discount. I know Apple gives you student discounts as well. And library events. So Instagram, again, we're having a book club. We typically give food. We give lots of great prizes. Last semester we had lots of great prizes that we gave out. And sometimes it wasn't that many people that showed up, so everybody got something. And we gave out a Fire Stick. We gave out gift cards. So, when we post little things like our movie showings, we're going to have a movie showing for 9/11 downstairs. And it's a pretty good movie with Don Cheadle. Research parties. So if you have research papers coming up, we have a rotating research party with different topics that is very helpful, so you don't have to feel alone if you do not understand the research process. And then we have Gator Game Day. Because of COVID, we haven't been doing it as much, but we do online games where we do give out prizes, and we did it last semester on our Facebook page. So just go in, follow the pages, and it was just like a puzzle, and we were giving prizes for the puzzle. And they're typically really good prizes. I'm going to turn this over to Carleen. You have my card. I'm on the research desk every other day, if not every day. Feel free to give me a call. Feel free to email me if you have any questions or concerns. If I don't know, I can pass you along.
Okay, we're going to do a little Mentimeter. Have you guys ever tried this little tool before? Anybody? No? Okay. I have never done it in this type of environment where I'm trying to do it online and also in a classroom, so bear with me in case it doesn't work out the way that I hoped. But basically what I'm going to cover here is I'm going to talk about our library databases and just about how to approach the research process, okay? So you guys are transfer students, so how many of you have kind of already had experience, writing some pretty heavy research papers before? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay. So then what I want you to do is, if you have a phone on you, okay, you can do this on a phone. If you're at home and you're doing Zoom, you can just do it on your computer as well. But you're going to go to www.menti.com, and it's going to ask you to put in a code, and you're going to put in that code right there, 9605974. Okay? And when you get there, what it's going to ask you is that question. which cat best represents how you feel about doing research or writing research papers, okay? So, for example, a lot of times I'd feel like carrots because I was like, oh my gosh, not another one, right? Maybe sometimes I actually felt like Applejack. I was pretty excited because, you know what, it was a topic that I was really interested in. Sometimes I was like Pickles over here where I was just like, I have no idea what's going on. This is confusing. So basically just pick whichever cat you feel actually represents how you feel when you're doing research papers. Okay, I'll give you guys a few seconds to do that and we'll take a look at the results. Oh boy, everybody seems to be feeling like Pickles, huh? I'm going to turn it back to the pictures because this is the one problem with this. There we go. All right, there's your cat, in case you forgot what they look like. Is everybody chosen a cat? Oh no, everybody feels like Pickles pretty much, it looks like. A couple of you are Applejack. Some of you might get a little bit excited. That's good. And then we've got a marbles. What did marbles look like? I can't remember. Oh yeah, marbles. I'm not even sure how to interpret that expression on his face, but it doesn't feel comfortable. Shock. Yeah, there we go. That might be it. Okay? All right, so I think it's pretty safe to say that most of us have a lot of negative feelings when it comes to doing research papers, right? That's just kind of standard for anybody. And it's really important to us as librarians that you guys understand that that is so normal. And when you even come in here as a transfer student, nobody expects you to know how to do this stuff well yet, okay? Everybody's in the same boat. And that's why it's so important to understand how the library fits into your college life and how we can help you, understanding where you can go in the library to get help and how you can access some of these resources, okay? So hopefully what I cover here will kind of help alleviate some of that. So we're going to pretend that we have not necessarily a research project, because what I want you to kind of do is to kind of imagine that research projects and research papers, that sounds intimidating, that word sounds intimidating, but really the point of a research paper is to explore something. It's to have a question and answer that question, correct, right? And that's just something that we do every day on a normal basis. You guys have questions about stuff, you want to know what movies are playing, you want to know directions to some place, and we often use Google or some sort of internet source, resource to do that with, right? So these days, I'm just picking one that everybody is probably talking about right now because we have the Delta variant, people are concerned, there's the whole question of whether or not masks work or don't work, right? So where do we usually end up finding that information just on a daily basis? Where do you usually hear people talking about that? Social media. Social media? I'm sorry? TV, news, yeah. So we got news people talking about it, right? We have social media and influencers perhaps even talking about it. But who are the ones we should probably be listening to the most when it comes to a question like this? Do face masks work? The medical professionals, right? So these would be the people that we would consider to be the authority on this particular topic. But what's interesting is that, the social media even, and especially also the news media, will often, when they are doing their broadcasting, whether it be radio or on TV or whether it's an article online, you will normally often hear them say things like, here's the science behind it, or here is a study that shows this, or here are 49 scientific studies that explain why they do. So they keep referring to this word study, scientific study, the research, okay? So what are they talking about when they talk about that? Well, that's actually something we refer to as scholarly peer-reviewed articles. So does anybody know what that means, or maybe remember what that means from their previous college experience? No, yeah? Anybody want to try? No? Okay. What is it? What's a scholarly peer-reviewed article?
It's a journal that high-end professional people that come to gather their information. Into one place, basically, like JSTOR or something.
Yeah, exactly. JSTOR is the name of a database where you actually find these types of articles, okay? All right, I'm going to show you a video. It's 3 minutes, and I'm using this video because it has these great little graphics. It explains it very simply, so you can sort of understand the process that scientific papers have to go through in order to get published, okay? Okay, so it says scholarly article, academic article, peer-reviewed article. That's the many different ways that you can refer to that particular type of article, okay? So essentially, what it is you have people who are experts in a particular field, scientists, sociologists, whatever their discipline is, they have some sort of theory that they want to investigate or explore. They need to do a study. Now, these studies can sometimes take years to actually complete, okay? And they don't do it by themselves. Normally they have to do it, like you said, with a group of people, other peers in their field that are sort of helping them with the research. But the whole point of it is that they're trying to answer some sort of major research question, something that will help us, like, do masks really, prevent COVID from spreading? So once they've done the research, they need to share it somehow. But in order to share it, they have to get it published in a very specific journal in their discipline. And in order for it to be published in that journal, the editor is going to send it to other experts in the field who will then review it and ensure that the research was done well, that it was quality research, that it was done correctly. Those other experts are referred to as peers, right? So that's why we often call it a peer-reviewed article. So this is sort of the type of articles that you will probably have to eventually start looking for when you do your research in your classes. Now, it is not the only type of source that you're going to have to use. It's important to understand that, okay? There are many different good sources out there that you can use that are not necessarily peer-reviewed articles, okay? But it's important to understand that this is where the original research happens in your field, okay? So when you start listening to news broadcasters talking, saying things like, so we have a brand new study that has shown we have a cure for COVID, or whatever, then you need to think to yourself, I wonder where I can find that original study so I can read it for myself and perhaps interpret it for myself and not just rely on the news media to interpret it for you, right? Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, sorry that the video didn't work. So here it's actually just telling you that sometimes these articles, they get rejected, okay? They really go through a very robust review. So just because you did the research and you spent all this time on it, doesn't mean that it's gonna actually make it through that robust peer review process. Sometimes you have to go back and do it again or correct something and that type of thing, okay? So that's why we often, insist that the quality of those articles should be really, really good. But there have been times where bad research has also gotten through the peer review process, okay? So keep that in mind. There are always ifs and buts that you have to kind of think about. Okay? All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you to our library website. There is somewhere, I think it's at the back of this one, where you're going to find the actual UHD Library website. Okay? But if you can't find this bookmark and you need to get to it some other way, the fastest way to do it is to come over here where it says Quick Links, click on Quick Links, and then scroll down to where you see Library. Okay? So this is our library website. So remember she was saying, the best place for you to actually find information about the hours is on our website. We usually, especially now with all of the different hours that we're having, we will always usually kind of put like a link right up there and tell you, yes, we are open. These are our hours, okay? The other thing that you can get from this website, I want to point out this over here where it says need help, ask a librarian. This is where you can contact a librarian and reach a librarian virtually, different ways. You can either call us, obviously. You can also email us. You can do what we call a research consultation, okay, which is making an appointment through Zoom. But the other thing that you can do is use our chat service, which is what this chat box is right here in the center. Now, when you're chatting in this chat box, it does not necessarily mean that you're going to be chatting with us. In fact, you're not. It's a service that we use. It's nationwide. So librarians are covering that chat. It's just not necessarily us. Everybody just sort of shares the times in the day for us to be covering the chat to help students with their homework or with their research assignments. So once you've done the chat with them and if for some reason they can't help you, then it always gets forwarded to us into our email so we can look through that transcript with them and find out what it is that you needed, and then we will respond and follow up on the chat that you had with them to make sure you got everything you need. Okay? So 24/7, literally 2 a.m. on Saturday morning, if you are one of those students that's working on a research paper, then you can come to this chat and someone there will be able to help you with something. Okay? The other thing that is important to understand is, you see where here it says report access issues? I'm about to show you some of our library databases, and you have to remember that in order to get to those library databases from home, you need to make sure you know your UHD username and password, okay? The same username and password you get in or use to get into Blackboard is the same one that you will also use to get into our databases, into our resources, okay? If for some reason you have problems accessing our databases using that login, then that's when you click on that and there's a little form. You fill it out and tell us what the problem is, and then we will also follow up with you and see if we can try to figure out what the problem is. A lot of times it has to do with passwords that have that are outdated, or there's just something wrong with the password. Sometimes just resetting your password will actually solve the problem. But other times it is something that's sort of out of our reach, and we have to check with IT and see if IT can help us, okay? All right, so the first thing that you see here in terms of a tool to use is our, what we call a discovery service, okay? So just to sort of back up and talk about how libraries kind of collect material now, you know, we are a traditional library in the sense that we have all kinds of books and everything that you can check out in our physical location. But the other way that we provide you guys with academic information is through what we refer to as our library databases. So a database is essentially just a container that allows you to store information and organize the information and allows you to retrieve it by typing in a combination of different keywords. So the truth is, there are numerous databases that you're probably using every single day and you're just not aware of it. I mean, Amazon is a type of database, right? Netflix is a database of streaming media. If it has a search box on it, then it is a type of database. It's just that our databases are filled with academic research material. So that would be things like the peer-reviewed articles, encyclopedias. We also have streaming media, academic, videos and stuff that you can watch. We also have magazines and articles, a lot of different types of resources, statistical reports, you name it, it's in there, okay? This tool right here, we have many, many, many different databases. Some of them just focus on one subject. Some of them only have encyclopedia articles in it. Some of them are just newspaper articles. So what this tool does is allow you to search all of those at once, okay? So we call it our lib search because it just searches everything. So what you're gonna do when you get to this search box is you need to have some sort of keywords that you need, right? So you have that question at the beginning that we started with, do masks really work? So do masks really work to prevent the spread of COVID? So what would be some keywords that we might want to use to put into the search box to see if we can retrieve some articles about that? Masks, good. Anything else? COVID, good. Do you want to try anything else?
Or work.
Work? Okay.
Spread.
I'm sorry?
Spread.
Spread? Okay. All right, you want to try that?
And if you notice, she used keywords and not a complete sentence. So you can just put the keywords in there. You don't have to create a sentence or a question.
I mean, you can put a question in, but the honest truth is that it's not going to work as well.
That's effective.
Because what you want to do is to focus on those main concepts, right? Like you were just trying to pull out. The main concepts in that question are COVID. COVID and masks really are the main ones, right? Work and spread, they can kind of help out too, but let's see how they work, okay? So here we have our list of results, okay? Up here it tells you how many results we have, which is a whole lot. But the difference between using our databases and using something like Google has a tendency to pick up articles or resources according to how popular they are. So popularity equals clicks. So it depends on how many people have clicked on that particular website. Google just essentially interprets the popularity to be the best website, which is really not necessarily going to be true, right? Because it could be that everybody is clicking on a bad resource because for whatever reason. So ours will actually do things differently. The algorithm, the database, the way that it works, it brings things up according to relevance. So what it does is it actually searches through the text of the article and the record that we have for the article that kind of gives you a summary of it. And it tries to find the keywords that you put into the search box and to see if they can find it the most. Like if it shows up multiple times, then it will consider that to be the most relevant article, okay? And then it will list things according to that relevancy in the list, okay? Then you can also see here that we have these tools on the side. This is where you're going to find your filters, okay? So what is one filter that I might want to use if I was trying to find the scholarly peer-reviewed articles? Academic journals? Good? Okay, is there anything else? Because here's the trick. Academic journals do publish the peer-reviewed articles, right? But you know what? The academic journals also publish book reviews. They publish op-eds. Okay?
Reports.
I'm sorry?
Reports.
Reports would be more, we could try that, but reports are going to be more like single sheet reports. It's not necessarily going to be the lengthy peer-reviewed article thing that we're looking for. Do you guys see it up there?
Peer-reviewed journals. Oh.
Right there.
Oh,
Okay? So with each time you apply a filter, it's going to eliminate the things that don't belong in that filter, okay? And then you can start looking at your list and see if you can find something that interests you or helps you answer your question. All of our databases function the same way. Just like I showed you in this one, you type in keywords. There's going to be filters somewhere, okay? So look for the filters that help you the most for your research purpose. When you click on the article, or actually, let's do the one that was above. Like this one here. And this is something that's different from searching on the open web too, is that all of our items in our databases have some sort of record. The record gives you all the information that you need to know about the article, how to, all the information you need to cite it. It also has these lovely tools over here. There's a little citation tool. So if you need to find how to cite it for, for APA or MLA format, then you click on that and it'll show you. But it also gives you abstracts. The abstract kind of gives you a summary of what the article is about, so you can determine whether or not this is going to help you or not, right? And then over here, you click on PDF full text. That actually gives you the full text of the article, okay? Oh, it's going to do this funny thing on
And I will make a suggestion. Even if you don't think you're going to use it, save that PDF and start your bibliography, because finding something after you've already left it is going to be double work.
Yeah, it is kind of important to have like a Word document or something that you start kind of keeping track of what you're using. Or you can also just print out the article too and maybe write it on the back. Or honestly, instead of wasting paper, sometimes people, if you have a tablet and you're okay, reading on a tablet or whatnot, just save it to a Google Drive folder, because you can do that straight from our databases too. So there's different ways that you can kind of organize yourself to help keep track of the research that you find. Yeah.
I've used like databases before and not had access to reading the actual or reading.
Yes,
research.
good.
Will we always have access to it using this?
No, and that's actually something, it's a really great question. And that's the way it is for every library in the world, ultimately. And there's many, many different reasons for that. Sometimes, like maybe there's an example, let me see. I don't know, we can try this one here. You can see how it has a PDF file right here? But then these ones right here have something called full text finder. And what that's actually saying is that it's not finding it in this particular database, okay? But it may be that we can find it in another database somewhere else. Even though this one is basically the collection of all of our databases, the truth is some of the companies that provide us with some of our databases don't work well with the company that this belongs to. And because of that, it doesn't get picked up. The full text doesn't get picked up. So then you have to kind of click on this to see if it might help you find it in one of the other databases. And if that shows that it is another database and you find the full text there, you're good. But if it doesn't, then there's another option, okay? And basically what that option is something called interlibrary loan. And that's where you can request items through our library from other libraries, okay? And to make interlibrary loan requests, the first thing you'll need to do is to get the information about the article. Or if it's a book that you're trying to interlibrary loan, then obviously get the book title, the author, all the publication information you might be able to gather. And then you're going to come back to our homepage here, okay? And interlibrary loan is right here, okay? This page explains a little bit about how the interlibrary loan works. Ultimately, what you're going to need is just to log into interlibrary loan using your, again, your UHD password or username and password. And then when you get in through there, you can choose if it's a book or an article, and then it just gives you a form so you can put in the title and the author, and then hit submit, and it goes to our interlibrary loan librarian, who then goes out to see if she can find it somewhere else. Sometimes if it's an article, your turnaround time can be really quickly, maybe sometimes the same day, sometimes within 24 hours. But if you're looking for something really obscure that was perhaps published many years ago, books, sometimes they will also take a while because they have to get physically mailed here, whereas the articles can be sent digitally, right? So just be aware of that. But normally our students are looking for articles that they can't find in our database. And if that's the case, then just, yeah, your turnaround time can be pretty quick. But that doesn't mean you don't want to, don't leave your researching to the last minute, right? We all know that's not a good idea, right? Everybody's shaking their head, yeah, not a good idea. But that's kind of another reason, because if you do come across an article, it's like, man, this article would be so perfect, but I can't get the full text. You do want to give yourself a little bit of time to make sure that we can get it, because we can't guarantee it within 24 hours. It just depends on how accessible it is. Okay? Are there any questions? Okay, the one final thing that I was going to show you just real quickly, because Bridget had mentioned the textbooks on reserve and the course material on reserve. I'm going to show you quickly how you can use a tool to find whether or not we have it. Okay, so on our website over here where it says course reserves, you have a search box. Fortunately, I don't have a title, but I can maybe put in biology. See if maybe, so you're going to put in, really what you want is,
Those are the most expensive books.
yeah, that's why I was going to put it in there, because normally those will be on reserve. Well, it looks like there are some. So to put in the title, so make sure you have the title of the textbook, and like Bridget said, normally in your syllabus, your instructor is going to tell you, yes, I have this book on reserve in the library, okay? But you can also just search here and see if we have it. So this one right here apparently is on reserve. And the tool that I'm actually using now, this is the tool that we use to find books and all of our physical books and stuff in the library as well, okay? So this here is, this is actually a book on reserve in the main campus. So that's kind of another thing you have to be aware of with this particular tool, because we share this tool with all of the other UH campuses, okay? So it has all of the books for all of those campuses along with our books too. So this is where those filters come in. So if you scroll down, you want to find UHD and click on UHD and then let it filter. And then now you can see that really the only biology book, we'll probably have more later because it's still kind of early. Usually they start putting more on reserve like the first week or two of the semester. But this book right here is apparently available, okay? Are there any questions? Yeah.
If we wanted to go to like UH main campus and borrow one of their books on reserve, could we do that?
I don't know about the course reserves. I don't think you can do that because course reserves are normally only supposed to remain in the library. The idea is you check it out in the library and you can photocopy the pages that you need. So I don't think you can do it.
If you wanted to go to their library and use
And
it
you
in
could
their
use it
library?
there. Yeah, you just wouldn't be able to bring it home with you.
Right.
Okay, but you can sometimes when you search. Can you think of a title that we should just put in? Like regular books.
I was going to bring up the fact that if they go to our library, they can get the universal library card to check out on other U of H campuses.
Oh yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
What is that called? It's not a universal card. It's the text.
Text ed or something.
So if you go up to the circulation desk on the 5th floor, you can let them know that you want to be able to check out books on U of H's campus. They're going to have you fill something out. It literally takes 2 minutes. And any other library in the state of Texas you can go into and check out books. And it's like a universal library card. So if you're closer to the main campus, you can go to UH Main, Clear Lake. If you're at UT in Austin, you can go at UT Austin and check out their books. You got to get them their books back. Or you can drop it off here and we'll send it to them. But it's on the 5th floor circulation desk, and the name will come to me in just a second.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Texas something.
I'll get the name. I have my phone too.
But you can actually, if you go to our, like on our homepage here, and go to our catalog, and if you search for, I don't know, I'm just going to put in Harry Potter. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Great. Yes, I did mean Harry Potter. Thankfully, we have sophisticated catalogs that help to spell things correctly for us, so it helps me. But essentially what I was trying to show you is that even if you find a book on here that that isn't available in our own library, then you can actually have it sent what we call like inter-campus mail. So it's a little different than the interlibrary loan. It's just sent inter-campus mail, which is pretty quick. It's usually just like a day or two. So if, like, say the Harry Potter book was over in, UH May campus, then that would be sent over directly to us, and then you guys would be able to borrow it here. So we can borrow things that way if you don't want to have to drive all the way down there. So that's always an option as well. But looking into that card is actually a really great idea.
Especially when it comes to studying, if you're closer to that one. I used to do that a lot. I would study at U of H's campus, but I was a student at TWU, and then they respect it, and you just check out, you don't have any issues. It's usually good for like 6 months.
I just realized that they can't hear you.
Oh, it's TechShare. It's called TechShare.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go up on the 5th floor and get a TechShare card. Sorry.
It's okay. I just remembered that they can't hear you because you don't have the
That's a
mic.
little nugget.
Yeah. Okay. Do you guys have any questions at all for us?
How long does it take to get the card?
Immediate.
The tech share? You get it just right
You
away,
get
right?
immediate. They'll open up a little binder. They're going to take your ID. They're going to give you a specific number, and they're going to give you a specific number, and they're going to put a barcode on there, and you'll have your TechShare card.
Would it be your student ID or your?
The barcode is a preset barcodes that they already have in the binder that they're attaching to your name to the TechShare database.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense? So they have a barcode that they just slip off, and they scan it and put all your information in, attach your information to that.
So do you get that barcode, or?
They're going to give you a little perforated card with the barcode on there. So you'll have your own little, don't lose it. But then you can go to any academic library and public library with that. Yeah. So, that's a lifesaver, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're in New York vacationing, you can, well, no, not New York, just anywhere in Texas. Anywhere in Texas.
But in New York, you can get the New York Public Library one, and that actually, yeah. But that's another story for another
We're
day.
powerful
Yeah.
people, okay?
Yeah, we got all kinds of little nuggets to kind of help
Yeah.
you with cheap ways to get information. All right, does anybody else have any questions at all for us? Yeah.
So, like for study rooms and just like items that we borrow, are all these study rooms going to be like in this building, or do they go from all of the different?
They're all on the 4th floor. So the library, it's really kind of funky because like when you're on the 4th floor, it does not feel like you're in a library at all because it's basically just hallways with rooms, right? But those study rooms are on the 4th floor. That's where our classrooms are as well. So if you ever have a library instruction for one of your classes, that's where you would go as well. But yeah, they're all on the 4th floor. It's like north. So it's like the north part of the building. And the study rooms are the ones that have the doors open. They only can really fit a couple of people. But then you have those presentation rooms that you do have to reserve, like she said, online, or you can do it with the QR code. And also the one-stop or one-button studio, which is also next to the presentation rooms there.
So if you have time in between your classes, that's a great place to kind of stop off in. And then you can we have very comfortable chairs. And
yeah, there's all kinds of seating upstairs on the 5th floor if you want, if you kind of like me, and I kind of feel like I want to have like that library feel. I want to be surrounded by books. It makes me feel, I don't know, smart and studious, I guess, or whatever. But there's a lot of places up there on the 5th floor for you to sit. And the 4th floor really is, there are some study carrels on the 4th floor, but it's really more devoted to the study rooms and also the computer lab. So like when you're in the information desk area, that's mostly just the information desk, whole bunch of computers for you to use, and then a couple of study carrels over here in the corner. Okay, any other questions at all?
Well, y'all
Well-
have our card. Librarians are here to help you.
Yes,
He
please
tells me all the
remember.
time. He knew me by first name.
Thank you.
Thank you.